There was a scene in the Malcolm X's movie that Spike Lee did. When Malcolm was about to go into the Audubon ballroom, he was standing there on the sidewalk. And a dear old lady walked up to him and says, "I recognize you. I know who you are." She says, "Don't pay those people no never mind. Just keep on doing what you're doing." She then says, "I'm going to pray for you. Jesus will protect you." And Malcolm X looks up into the clouds, played by Denzel Washington, with doubt of this statement. Well, we know he goes into the ballroom and he gets shot. Christians make the claim that God is going to protect us. Before they journey out on a Christian trip, they gather together in a circle reminiscent of Wiccans. I ain't got no problem with that. And they begin to call upon the deity. Protect us as we journey. With everything in their hearts, they believe that God will do so. They quote things like Psalms 91, and I want to read a portion of that. Psalms 91 verse 10 says this: "No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all of your ways." There's been many Christians who's believed this, and yet they were not kept. Something happened. Why? I wonder, did Dr. Martin Luther King know this passage of scripture? I wonder, did Medgar Evers know this passage of scripture? I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. At the time, nearly 87% of all black people were serious Christians. You tell me God is going to protect me, but then on the other side, I don't see this protection. Nearly every prophet of the Bible is either imprisoned or slaughtered. Those are the words of Jesus. Why? If God can protect his people, why are they slaughtered? And we can go into even greater detail than this. If God watches Israel, how did they go into slavery? After Joseph died and a Pharaoh rose up that knew not Joseph, how did they go into slavery? And when they went into slavery, why did it take him 400 years to bring them out? Did he not care about the first 10 generations of slaves? Why is it that the prophets suffer? It would seem to me that there's a problem here. Now, Christians will say, well, they suffer to show their faith. Seem like you would get more converted if every time you tried to imprison Jeremiah, angels came down and took care of business. Seem like the people would say, I'm not going to mess with Jeremiah's God. He's God. But that's not what happens. We get mixed messages, like with the prophet Elisha and Gehazi. When they were surrounded by their enemy's army and Gehazi was panicking, Elijah the prophet said, don't worry, they that be with us is more than they that be with them. And then he touched the young apprentice prophet's eyes, and his eyes were open, and he saw the heavenly host over them with swords drawn. Now that makes you wonder, why does a supernatural being need a mortal weapon to do battle with mortals? But then he saw that. However, other prophets die. The apostles, they died. James the Greater, he was beheaded. Jude Thaddeus, he was beaten to death, and then his head was hacked with an axe. Simon was stabbed with the sword. Bartholomew was crucified. And this is not all. Why does God let his people suffer like this? For what purpose? Especially when Jesus was supposed to take all of my crime with him. Why are you going to punish me for what Jesus paid for? If Jesus paid for my sin, if he paid for my crime, I shouldn't have no cross, baby, because he paid it all, right? There is power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. If there's power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb, then I don't need to shed my blood. What's my blood's worth? If he's the purest sacrifice, if he's the whole sacrifice, what's my blood worth? No, I shouldn't have to shed no blood if his blood paid it all. So again, why won't God protect his people? On September 19th, 1997, a guy by the name of Rich Mullins died. He and a friend was on his way in his Jeep to a benefit concert at Wichita State University in Kansas. He lost control over the Jeep, and when he did so, he flew out of the Jeep and he dies on impact. A diesel sees this and swerves to avoid the Jeep and runs over the body, desecrating the body further. Where was God in this? How is this possible? Dr. King stood for peace. Why did God allow the assassin bullet to meet its mark? Did nobody not pray for JFK? How is it that the saying was even crafted that the good die young? How can we even say that? Because it would appear, according to Psalms 91, Psalms 23, that God watches over them and takes care of them. But that does not seem to be the case here. Or maybe I'm missing something. What say you? This is Testing the Bible. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a great day or night or time or whatever. Blessings to all.